I'm recording this after the 1-1 draw with Arsenal and Brentford to give you a quick update on how my team is doing and talk about the game, as well as look ahead to what my thoughts are in terms of planning for the blank game week 31. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Femi. Let's jump into it. So Arsenal drew with Brentford 1-1, and it was an exciting game and a great advertisement for the Premier League. In this game, Brentford completely dominated in the first half, and Arsenal didn't really get into the game until the second half when Martin Odegaard came on and completely changed the game for them. They sped up the ball and were able to play a lot of great opportunities, and Rice almost fed Gyökeres for a goal, which would have been great for my team as he's my current captain. But overall, Arsenal never got their attacking legs under them. They had Odegaard, Saka, and Martinelli on the bench, 3 guaranteed starters in this side, which in hindsight, Arteta might feel a little bit hard done by in the sense that he has to start these attacking players to try and win the game and not bring them on when the game state is very back and forth. And Brentford really took full advantage. They grew into the game after the Madueke goal and were able to assert themselves. The only reason Arsenal escaped with a 1-1 was because of their great defense, Mascara in particular, with that game-saving tackle on Thiago. Thiago had so many opportunities, and if you don't have him in the squad, he's definitely someone to pick up. He looked great holding the ball up. He had that great headed chance against Rayan in the first half. All in all, he was all over the pitch, and they always looked to find him long, and they usually did. Coyote's long throws, I mean, every time, I don't know about you guys, but every time watching him with those long throws, you think something's going to happen. And it's a different part of the game and not what we're used to in terms of open play, but it is exciting just the same. So Brentford, full credit to them, and Arsenal will rue their chances because we do have a title race going on right now. They only are 4 points up on Man City, and with their next game against Wolves, it's a must-win to sort of relieve some of the pressure next week and see what they can do. All right, so with that said, let me highlight some things that I'm looking at when I look at my team and how I'm looking at the next little while in terms of the game as we go ahead to the blank game week 31. So I don't really want to be the bearer of bad news, but suffice to say the Gabriel triple captaincy is not off to a great start. He finished on 3 points in this game. He had a yellow card, and there was an opportunity for him to potentially be sent off, which he never was going to. Unfortunately, fortunately for so many of those who triple captained him. It goes back to this view that, defenders, unless, maybe they're Trent Alexander-Arnold in the day, are just so hard to captain because a lot of us were banking on a clean sheet in this game. But unfortunately, Brentford at home are such a tough opponent. They've only lost 2 games at home all season. So I always felt that Arsenal would concede. So although my captaincy choice in Rice only got 1 more point, it's a little bit safer because now I still have the triple captainship. I know it's a difficult one to take, but let's look and see what they can do in the next game against Wolves. Great opportunity for Arsenal to pick themselves back up, and more importantly, for Gabriel to get you guys some FPL points. So looking at my team, I'm currently on 45 points, and we'll just quickly go through who's gotten me points so far. So Sunderland played a great defensive game, but ultimately Liverpool was too much. Royce finished on 2 points. Ballard had 4 points and got defensive contributions. I love the Sunderland assets, especially at home, and they still produce for me. On another day, they get a lucky clean sheet, and that would have helped me get a big score. In terms of the Chelsea assets, my plan, as well as a lot of you, is just to give them their last game against Burnley. Chalobah got upgraded to DEFCON and got 3 points. Gabriel, I mentioned, had 3 points as well. And Munoz, in the most shocking result of GW26 thus far, the 1-pointer and got an early sub. So that transfer isn't looking really good. Enzo had 2 points, and he'll be coming out of my team after the Burnley game, most likely. Bruno Fernandes with 2 points. A lot of blanks in the midfield. Martinelli with that huge chance at the end that he couldn't do anything with, finished on 1 point. And then Declan Rice, who had a great chance as well. He didn't take the shot. He passed it to Gyökeres, had 4 points, 8 points as my captain. And then Semenyo with 14 points. So this point is so important. Guys, you got to look at sometimes the single game week players, because ultimately Semenyo even could have had more in that game, but Man City never got out of first gear against Fulham. He's such a strong player. I'm so happy I went back on wildcard 24 to get him in, and I still think there's a great opportunity to get points from him moving forward. So before their blank 31. So look at City's fixtures and see if it's worth the risk. And then Haaland got subbed at halftime, but before that, he got his goal for the 5-pointer. So I'm feeling really confident going into the Wolves game as the second game for the Arsenal double, and hopefully my players can get me closer to 60 points on the game week. And then on the bench, Dubravka with 1 point in a wild game there against Crystal Palace. Mane with 2 points. He had a big chance that he missed at the end, near that end of that game. Thiago didn't score. He finished on 2 points, and Diouf on my bench with 6 points. So that's how the team fared. Now let's go into one player that I have my eye on and talk a little bit about game week 31 and what my plans are. So this player is 5.5 million, and he's doing an impressive Semenyo cameo at Bournemouth. His name is Rayan, and he's looking really good. The Brazilian winger, he's only 5.5, and typically January transfers don't necessarily do that well, especially when they're outside of the Premier League. You know, Bournemouth keep finding these players that are a little bit of rough diamonds, and then they start to polish them and they start to produce goals and assists. And Rayan looks exactly the same. So, you know, with the forwards in Evan Nilsson, who I've never really trusted in terms of being a top striker, and Krupi Jr. having minutes risks, he's definitely one you guys need to consider for the next little while. And I probably will, I'm thinking about him in terms of game week 30, as I could just downgrade Enzo to him if he continues to produce. So he's one name that a lot of people are talking about, and I just wanted you guys to be aware of. Now let me look and explain to you my plan for how I'm handling blank game week 31. So we're never locked into our transfer plans or when we're going to play a chip, but my strategy I mentioned in another video this week was to bench boost in game week 30. You can take a look at that video and look at why the fixtures are so advantageous. And if you have a team that has Arsenal and Man City assets, it could look really, really good for you. And the reason why was, even though that Arsenal, Wolves, Crystal Palace, and City blank in 31, if you take a look at the fixtures in 31, you have Villa at home to West Ham. Okay, that's a great fixture. Fulham at home to Burnley. And then Newcastle in the Derby, and Spurs at home to Forest, which is a relegation fight. Outside of that, a lot of the fixtures are sort of even fixtures, ones where it's really hard to see, you know, players necessarily, you know, doing extremely well in. And that's why my thought process is, you know, bench your Arsenal and City assets in 31, save your transfers to get the best team to bench boost in game week 30, and then move on in game week 32 with your Arsenal and City assets you want. Because at the end of the day, why transfer them out? They're the two best teams. They're the highest scoring teams. They have the best defenses. And, you know, just sort of move and work that way. For those of us who have already used our wild card, because I used mine in game week 24. For those who haven't, you know, there's this view of maybe free hitting in 31. But as I just described, the fixtures aren't even good enough. And I will probably, you know, take a couple players not playing to really save those transfers and save the free hit and use it in a later game week. So that's what I'm doing. Let me know what you're doing down in the comments. At the end of the day, you want strong players. And like, for example, Semenyo, he's like a seasoned keeper. He's done so well. And I know a lot of people have regret on not having him. So why not just, you know, bench him for a week? It's only one game week. And then you'll have him for the rest of the season when City is going for a title and trying to put pressure on Arsenal. So that's what I'm doing. I'd love to know what you guys are doing. And in any case, that's the end of this video. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.